So I just went for a quick run in my Prime X Run 2. And the reason I did that, I went to the gym in it. I just wanted to remind myself how this felt, because I'm about to run this morning in something that I think might be a bit comparable to this shoe. And and that's a clue. You recognise that? And there you go. We have the Wave Rebellion Beta, or should I say Zebra. Zebraflage, I think they're calling this, or Zebraflage, depending on where you live. Look at this shoe. Wow, that's some serious rubber coverage. And that is some serious midsole there. What could go wrong? Well, let's see how it goes, and I'll give you a review of this shoe a bit later. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable. Today I've got a bit of a crazy one for you. I've got a new shoe I'm going to review. It's absolutely bonkers, but please listen to the whole of this video, including the run footage, because there'll be some interesting thoughts about the shoe on there. But this shoe in question is the Wave Rebellion Pro Beta, not to be confused by the Wave Rebellion Pro 3, and this is a new super shoe from Mizuno. Okay, so in this review, I'm going to tell you how it felt to run in these shoes, and I'm also going to tell you what I liked about the shoe, what I didn't like about the shoe, and who I think the shoe would be good for. We'll mention a few similar shoes that I've run in the past, but as you'll find throughout this review, it's very hard to find a similar shoe to this one because of how crazy it is. So anyway, let's go through a few stats around the shoe first of all. So it's given that how big this shoe is and the fact that I had to go up, I had to buy a size 10 because there were no other shoes available in my size. So I'm normally a 9, but in Mizuno I'm often a 9.5. So I took a chance on 10, and actually it was fine. I'm wearing thicker socks, and that actually works quite well with this shoe. But I think this shoe is possibly true to size or half a size up if you've got wide feet like me. But yeah, in terms of the weight, 241 grams, which, considering how big this shoe is, I thought was remarkably light, actually. I thought, I was expecting it to be 260, 270, up with the kind of Cielos of this world, but it is a very light shoe considering how big it is. Okay, in terms of stack height, well, it's kind of really anyone's guess, depending on where you measure it. So this is World Athletics legal because they're measuring it from this area here, which is below the 40 millimeter mark. But if you measure it in the midfoot at the highest point, okay, here, and it has got a little bit of a, like some foam that sticks up above your foot here. But if you measure it just about to about this point, which is where your foot sits, it's actually 55 millimeters, which is up there with the highest stack shoe that I own. And it gradually goes down to this midfoot area, but even in the midfoot area, you've got over 40 millimeters here, right? So it's a massively high stack shoe. Like I said, you've got little sidewalls here, so it's not quite as high as it looks, but it's almost. Those sidewalls there are there for stability reasons, as we'll talk about a bit later. So, what I'm basically saying is this is like running in high heels. It's the closest us guys will get to understanding what it's like to be a woman in high heels, because that's what it feels like. It feels like when you're on this, it's tipping you forward and your foot is almost feeling like this in the shoe. So walking in this shoe is absolutely dreadful. Running slowly in this shoe isn't much better, but here's the thing. Once you start picking up the pace in this shoe, it comes alive, and it was an incredible run. that I had in this shoe. So this basically, let's go through the shoe in terms of the upper. The upper was fine. I've got good lockdown. The width of the forefoot is pretty good. Not really wide, but wide enough for my wide feet. I had a bit of room at the end because I went up the size to 10. But I think if you stick to your normal size, or you've got wide feet, goes half a size up, you should be fine. The upper felt fine to me, actually. I heard some people say they got pressure around this area on their toes. I didn't have that. What was really interesting to me, even though I went size 10, I got a really good lockdown in this shoe. I did do a runner's knot, and unlike the version 2 of this, you can actually do that. They've included the extra eyelids, holes at the top, so you can actually do a runner's knot, which is, I think I would advise it for this shoe. It's one of the few shoes I think it's almost essential that you have a runner's knot. Minimal heel padding, actually quite like that. There is some padding here, but it's minimal around the collar area and on the heel. It feels quite nice. It's a rigid-ish heel counter, but it's not like rigid like we saw with the Skyflow yesterday. There is a little bit of give there, which I quite like. Tongue's very thin, very lightweight, does its job. I cinched the laces tight, didn't get much pressure on the top of my foot, so that was fine. All in all, good upper, even though it looks completely bonkers. Outsole, so up I would say 4 out of 5. It's very lightweight, breathable as well. I think it's pretty much does everything it needs to do. It's probably my favourite upper from the Wave Rebellion Pro series. Now let's go outsole. Outsole is, look at this coverage. I mean, it's literally covering the whole shoe apart from this cutout. And this rubber is really tacky and grippy. A bit like with the previous 2 versions. It's a hard rubber compound, but it really grips the surface. And it's a wide footprint, as you can see, particularly in the forefoot. It narrows a bit in the midfoot, but then in the heel it widens a little bit again. But yeah, for forefoot landers like me, you've got a large base to land on, which is really useful. So all in all, really good outsole. I think it'll be very durable because of how much rubber coverage you've got here. I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 really, because the grip was superb today. It wasn't the wettest weather conditions, and I'd have to test it on frosty pavements, but I think this is going to perform really well, right up there with the likes of Puma and Continental. So brilliant outsole, 100%. Think they've done a good job here, Mizuno. Now we get to the interesting bit, the midsole. My goodness, where to start? Let's start with the foam itself. This is a softer foam than you might have been used to in the previous 2 versions of this shoe. If we do a little test with my little gadget here, I'll test the foam in under the heel first of all. 33. There we go, that's quite soft. Then I'll do it under the forefoot. 28, 29. I'll do further down in the heel. Oops, that's not going in, sorry. Further down in the heel, 35. Further down in the forefoot, a bit harder there, 46. But all in all, a soft foam, softer than the original, and the Pro 2. So yeah, very interesting actually that they've gone softer. It does have a plate, as you can see, just about here. You can see it here as well. It's a full length carbon plate, and you can see the contour of it here where it goes under the forefoot, just about there. You can see it. So you've got still got quite a bit of foam above the plate. It's kind of midway, maybe slightly below midway where the plate is. The foam itself is this, well, it's got a nice smooth speed assist, it says here, and the foam itself, so you can see there, Mizuno Energy XP. And this is a new compound, completely new, and it's amazing. It is really responsive and really soft but springy, and it really thrusts you forward when you land with this shoe. I think, I mean, the closest shoe at the moment you can buy with the foam like this is this yellow. But in terms of, we'll talk a bit about the geometry of the shoe now. You can see this crazy bump here, and if you land about here, it feels like you're on a pogo stick. I'm landing further forward around about here, but I'm still getting a nice spring forward. I'm thinking people who land somewhere around here are going to get the best. You're going to get all that foam and you're going to get that thrust forward. So I think even for me, I'm probably not getting the best out of this shoe. Some of you midfoot landers, even some people who are more heel landers, but you know, they're a little bit forward on the heel. They'll get something really remarkable out of this shoe in terms of the geometry. It'll thrust you forward, and with the bounce you get, you really do bound forward with this shoe. Yeah, it's a ride that honestly I can't compare it with anything else. I mean, if you like this yellow, you're going to like the bounce. If you like the Primex strung, you're going to love the high cushion and how this thrusts you forward. You know, it's a bit unstable like the Primex. So those that I think got on with the Primex and could handle that, you know, got strong ankles, I think are going to absolutely love this shoe. If you've got any problems with your ankles or stability issues, stay clear of this shoe. This is not for you, okay? But anyone who's, you know, gets on well with the Primex, Primex 2 potentially, that's a bit more of a stable shoe, but you're going to absolutely love this shoe and how it feels. And it brought a smile to my face when I ran in it today, because I've been looking for another one of these type of shoes for a while now. Cielo is pretty good for me, but this is my new Primex. And I can almost imagine me now already on those 5K, 10K races where you've got long straights using this shoe. Having this shoe as a powerful weapon for me to bound along quickly. Today I did my loop of Oak Hill, and there are some downward sections of that and some turns, but nevertheless it's performed very well. If you look at the run footage towards the end of this, you'll see, you know, what my pace was like, and that was a kind of hard effort. And yeah, my pace was actually a lot quicker than I expected, and it was. I can tell you now, it was quicker than the Edge Paris that I ran in, and also the Alpha Fly 3 in this shoe. And maybe I was putting in slightly more effort. Heart rate was slightly more elevated, but I think that some of that might be to do with just running in this shoe. So now we've talked something about the shoe and the specifics. Let's talk about what I like and didn't like about the shoe, because things are coming into my mind now that you need to know about, right? What I liked about the shoe is how bouncy and fun, fast, light, and incredibly, just a sensational ride you get in the shoe. It is like the Primex on steroids, right? That's what I loved about the shoe, and there's a lot to love there, right? The outsole I absolutely love. I think it needs this outsole because of how unstable the shoe is. I like the fact that it accommodates my foot. I'm at size 10, but it doesn't feel too big. It narrows in the midfoot, just bear that in mind, but that kept me nice and locked in, so I like the upper and how it locks me in. I like how breathable the upper is. I even like the crazy look of this shoe. It's a zebra flage or zebra flage, depending on how you call it. That's what they're calling this. And literally got zebras or zebras on your feet when you're running. And I got a lot of looks in the park today, and I met some friends who seemed to quite like it. So I'd say, yeah, if I take this to one of the race meets, I'm going to get a bit of attention, I think. So if you don't mind that, you're going to like it. I actually weirdly don't mind the look of this shoe. I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice, but actually I could think of worse things to wear. I mean, if you're a Newcastle United fan, you're going to love this shoe, aren't you? But yeah, so they're the things I like. The things I don't like, and there aren't that many, but stability. I feel like this isn't a stable shoe, and it's going to be difficult to recommend this to everyone. And it's also going to be difficult to recommend this for all races because, you know, some races with tight corners, turns, cambers, roads that are got cobbles, that type of thing, this is not going to be suitable for. You need a flat surface, a long straight surface. You know, you need a park run or a race like, I don't know, like Battersea Park, with a flat surface with long straights that you can really let fly. And this shoe, I think it will be a brilliant shoe for that. I feel like where it lets itself down, and it's obvious, it lets itself down because it's not an in-bus shoe, it's not a stable shoe, and if you have to corner, if you have to stop and start, that kind of thing, this is where this shoe, you suffer in this shoe. So you need plenty of room, you need a good flat surface, you need just to let yourself fly and bound in this shoe, and then it comes to life. And I got a pretty good run today, a clear run, and I was able to let this go, and it felt absolutely brilliant. You know, it really did cheer me up, actually. I've been feeling a bit down with this cold, sorry, Moni. But this made me so happy today. So those are things I didn't like. The price actually is reasonable. So I think I got this with a discount, 10% discount for my first purchase from Mizuno, directly from them. And it came in at like 189. So if you can get that 10%, it's worth it. And yeah, that to me is a decent price compared to a lot of the other super shoes that, you know, the prices on them. So I think price actually is very competitive. But just bear in mind what I just said now. If you've not got strong ankles, this won't be a good shoe for you. If you didn't like the Prime X, this won't be a good shoe for you. If you've got stability issues, this won't be a good shoe for you. But if you feel like your ankles are strong, you like the Prime X, you can handle something with this tall stack. You're a mid-foot striker or forefoot striker. You're not landing here because that'll feel horrible. Check my video out. I tried it, didn't feel good. If you're all those things, you'll love this shoe. Apart from heel strikers, beware. You're not going to like it. The only other caveats I have is consider yourself, if you are landing about here and you wanted to take this to marathon distance, then over the marathon distance, you might find that as you get tired, you're going back towards the heel, which isn't a good thing, right? You're then going to be fighting against this shoe. So actually, those of us like myself who land further forward, actually might, for marathon distance, we might not get the full benefit of the shoe early on, but towards the end of the race, where you need it the most, we'll actually be hitting the sweet spot of this shoe. So this could actually be a viable marathon shoe option for me, maybe a half marathon shoe as well. I think the sweet spot for this shoe is potentially 10K to half marathon, maybe marathon. I will try this on a 5K because I think this is a quick shoe as well. But like I said, it would require it to be a course where you've got lots of straights, nothing that requires you to be too nimble, no cambers, that type of thing. But if you can find, you know, like a race like that, like Battersea Park or Burgess Park Run or Dulwich Park Run, that kind of thing, I think this shoe would be a really good shoe to try. So all in all, they're my thoughts on the shoe. It reminds me of the Prime X. I feel like it's, if you like the previous version of the shoe, Pro 2, and I'll do a comparison of the two of them, a separate video. This is my initial run comparison. Do a comparison for those. You're probably going to like this, but just bear in mind that was a firmer shoe, right? This is a more bouncy shoe, so it reminds me a little bit more of the Prime X, I have to say, than it does of that version 2 of the shoe. Although the dimensions of the shoe, geometry of the shoe, is a bit more like the version 2 than the Prime X. That's all I want to say. Very excited about this shoe. Look forward to taking on a few races and give you a bit more of an analysis of where I think this is actually, a competitive shoe in the, in races, which I'm hoping it is, because I think with the weight not being, massive, 240 is competitive. And also the fact that they've now got this new foam that's actually the Mizuno Energy XP foam that's very bouncy. It's a new compound. That I feel like, they're onto something here, Mizuno. Maybe they could start using this foam in their more kind of traditional shoes, if they have any traditional shoes. They all seem to be a bit bonkers as well. And you get some really good training shoes with this foam as well. So I think all in all, very exciting from Mizuno. Thumbs up. Love this shoe. I have a particular liking for this kind of shoe. It's not going to suit everyone. But for those of you who are like me, who love the kind of Prime X's, yellows, even the version 2 or 1 of this shoe, I think you might just like this shoe. I think you might be seeing that I quite like it as well. Anyway, yeah, Zebra Flash, I'm all for it, baby. See you later. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable this morning. I've got a bit of a treat for you this morning. I've got a rather special shoe that I want to try out, and I've just run down my road in it, and yeah, that was some some feeling to run in this shoe, I'll tell you. So this shoe is from a company called Mizuno, so I'll give you a clue. I have worn previous iterations of this shoe, and they were rather crazy shoes, have to be said. This one is no different. In fact, just running down the road, it seemed even more nuts. It feels to me like a shoe that needs to go fast. So even though my legs are a little achy, sorry, moaning once again. Stop moaning, Ed. I'm going to give it a circuit of my park. So it's about 1.7k. I'm going to go fast, hard effort, and see how this feels at going fast. Because I tell you now, running down my road when I was going slow, it did not feel good. So I'm hoping this feels better fast. And I better show you the shoe, because it's a rather crazy looking shoe, to be fair. I'm going to get a few looks today, I think. Anyway, without further ado, yep, I'm wearing a couple of zebras, depending on how you pronounce it, on my feet. I think it's actually called, is it Zebra Flage? But anyway, yeah, I look ridiculous, to be honest. But I also know how it feels for you women out there who wear high heels now, because this is a ridiculous geometry on this shoe. But anyway, enough talking. Stots, and actually I was going to say let's get walking, but walking's no good in this shoe, I'll tell you that now. So let's get running, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. So, oh my god, these feel weird. Really weird. So if you land on the midfoot with these, there's a huge bump that kind of, it's like a pogo stick. So if you think of if you've used the Pro 1 or Pro Pro 2, it's like that but 10 times. And the reason it's more is because this foam's a lot softer and bouncier, and they've actually got an amazing foam, or it feels like anyway. Let's see how fast it is though. That's the thing I'm not sure about. Not the most stable shoe, and I think those of you with weak ankles are going to struggle with this shoe. You've got to be careful. I'm feeling like it's throwing me forward, and I have to run with good form with this shoe. Oh. Sorry, clearing my throat a bit. Wow. So, bit-wise, I could only get size 10, and I'm normally 9, but they actually don't fit too bad. I've got thicker socks on, slightly big, but not too big. I've done a runner's knot, and I've got good lockdown. I'm not feeling much movement, so that's good. I think they're slightly narrow in the midfoot that's locking me in. It's going downhill now. Whoa, shit. Oh my god, that felt weird. Oh wow, what a shoe. What a shoe. For those of you who like ground feel even, avoid this shoe like the plague. It's so bouncy. It's literally like I'm on a trampoline. Zebra flash trampoline. I'm getting propelled forward like no other shoe. Closest thing to this is the Primex, the original Primex. And even that wasn't as crazy as this. Didn't have this crazy geometry. I suppose nowadays the closest shoe you can actually buy readily to this is this yellow, but that feels timid to say the least compared to this. Let's see, it feels good. Feels like a quick shoe. Feels light as well. I haven't weighed it, but it feels quite light. I mean, not Meta Speed Paris, Sky Paris light, but still feels light. Not nimble though. Feels like a big shoe. Feels like I'm running in high heels. But my god, what an experience. This is kind of what I live for running. When I get a shoe like this, and it's so much fun to run in. I could probably break my ankle at any time, but I don't care. What's an ankle when you've got shoes like this? Wow, really getting thrown forward. It's literally like riding a stallion here. Feeling like I could get thrown off at any time. But while I'm on it, such a great ride. Wow.
such an effortless run as well. I mean, still got a bit of a cold, sorry I'm moaning, but this feels so good to go fasting. I think you guys that are mid-foot strikers are going to get even more benefit than I am with all that foam in the midfoot. Getting close now to the end. Let's give it a final push. Right, let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh my word, what? That's a serious pace. Right, let me get my breath. I'll see you in a minute. Right, so I got my breath back. Right, let me start by saying this is an awesome shoe. I don't care what any other reviewers are saying. This is awesome. Right, with some caveats. Right, if you're a heel striker and I'm just running on the heel, it feels terrible. Feels like I'm going backwards. Okay, if you're somebody who runs right on your tiptoes, it's not terrible, but you're not going to get the most out of it. You want something like the Sky Paris with that nice toe spring. But if you can run on your sort of midfoot or further back on your forefoot, you get all this foam that bounces you along and it thrusts you forward, particularly if you hit the bump or the bottom bit of the bump, which is on the downward curve of the bump, let's say. You get thrown forward. Absolute amazing ride. It is a ridiculous shoe, let me say, and there will be quite a lot of people for whom this shoe is a no-go area. But all you people out there who like the original Primex and you had ankles that could handle the original Primex, all those who like the Wave Rebellion Pro or Pro 2 and had ankles that could handle those, you're going to love this shoe, this Wave Rebellion Pro Beta. I mean, hopefully you can still get it. Have a look, because I'll tell you now, it's worth it. And I think I got mine with a, I don't know, 10% discount. So mine came in kind of under 200, something like 180 something, which I'm feeling now is a bit of a bargain for this shoe. And I know it sounds ridiculous to say that, but for me, this shoe kind of works. And as long as my ankles can handle it, I can see this being a go-to shoe for me for some of my races. Not all of them, but some of them. Sweet spot with this shoe, I'm thinking 10k, half marathon, possibly marathon. I'd like to take it on a 5k as well. See how it compares to the Edge and the Paris. and the other speedster shoes that I've got, but this is definitely more like the Prime X or the Cielo, for those that are wondering. So it feels lighter than Cielo actually. I mean, I'll have to run in it more and take it on a race, but it's already feels like a faster shoe to me than the Cielo, which I was pretty amazed at, really. It's worth mentioning is the grip is excellent, really bites into the surface, which you obviously need given like this is practically running in high heels. It's a full rubber grip on the outsole, apart from the cutout. So it's everywhere. So that's going to help with the durability of the shoe. So I can only see it being quite durable. The foam is soft and bouncy, so over time you may see some degradation there, some bottoming out. But actually, I think it will wear quite well, this shoe. It's got such a stack of foam. It's going to take some bottoming out, I'll tell you. Thinking again for me, for the marathon, being a 4-foot striker, so I lose some of the benefits early on in the marathon with this shoe, because most of the stack is in the mid-foot. But as the marathon goes on, and I drift further backwards, which inevitably happens as my legs need a bit of a break, this is going to come to its own then, just when I need it. So yeah, could be a marathon option for me, and that's maybe you 4-foot strikers, maybe something you can consider. But like I said, you're going to have really strong ankles to cope with this for a marathon distance. I mean, you can obviously do some strength and conditioning to help with that, which I would definitely advise if you're thinking of taking this marathon distance. But I think for shorter races you could probably get away with it, like 5-10k, and that's what I'm thinking of in the immediate future. Do I use this in a 5k I've got coming up? Because I've just set a very quick time, as you'll see in the video, for that loop, which is a bit surprising, surprised me. So we'll have to see. Some friends of mine. Hello, check these out.
What? Oh my god! Wow!
Bling. Yeah. You know what they're called? Zebra flage. Flage. See you later. Friends of mine, known them for years. They like the shoes. Oh, either that or they're humouring me. But I like these. These are incredible. They bounce. Honestly, I thought the Cielo was bouncy. This is ridiculous. So here's a camber now up my road. This is what I'm worried about. Let's see how it works on the camber, because the other two versions of this shoe, previous versions, were terrible. So it already seems a little bit better, to be honest. I think it's got a wider base, so you land a bit more securely. I'm like bounding up this hill, so not bad on hills either. Not Sky Paris good, but pretty good. It's not as light as that shoe for sure. Yeah, what a shoe this is. You can tell I'm a happy man this morning. And sometimes you least expect it. I've been looking for something to remind me of the Prime X for a long time, and the Prime X 2 is a great shoe, but didn't do that for me. But this is definitely up there. Anyway, that's all for me now. I'll see you later. Bye bye.